the first taste of Cotuit Kettleers baseball here for the 2025 season in beautiful Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Chris Albright, Brooke Kilgore, alongside myself, Connor Shue, for this entire season. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Starting it off with the yearly scrimmage against the Lexington Blue Sox, the 18th installment of that. Chris, are you excited?
Connor, I'm beyond excited to be up here. I mean, it's not technically opening day yet, but you can feel it in the air. It's becoming baseball season out here on the Cape. And what better way to start between the Cats and the Blue Sox? I mean, we're getting ready to go underway. It's a lot more casual. We're bumping up this 2 o'clock start time a little bit, so we'll get it over to you for that Blue Sox roster as we're getting ready, or lineup as we're getting ready to go.
Leading off should be Charlie Camello, number 20, but we've got number 18 here at the dish, so I think we're going to pivot here to Luke Maltasia, the catcher. Leading off after him will be Anderson Jimenez and A.J. Lysko. Facing off against the starter for the Cats in Game 1, Kenton Deverman, the southpaw out of Evansville. Freshman All-American back in 2024. Just a 2 ERA. And last year, bigger workload, 12 starts, 67 1/3 innings pitched. So he's been a workhorse for the Aces. Grounder towards third, misplayed, but the throw in time anyway, out number 1.
That's Ryan Farber over at third base getting the starting nod today. This middle infield, or this infield especially for Catuit, some returners, so there's some familiarity on the dirt.
Now it's Anderson Jimenez. Right-handed stick. He's playing shortstop today for the Blue Sox. 2-2 in their regular season. And of course, this is a yearly tradition here, the 18th between the Blue Sox and the Kettleers here at beautiful Lowell Park. Your first look at it this year. 397 dead center, 320 to the corners here. And as you can see in some shots, this beautiful shrubbery behind the outfield wall, trees lining the stadium. It's a great look.
Such a beautiful park. One of the best. I'll call it the best in the Cape.
Grounder foul, and this is our first look at any park in the Cape yet, at least in person. So I think we're real excited to see what these other teams have to offer.
You know, it is tough being here at Catuit because the expectation is now sky high for everyone else. I mean, Lowell Park, just a beautiful place.
They do set the bar high. It's a 1-2 count, 1 down here in the first inning. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Deverman. 2 up, 2 down easily for him. Let's go up to bat. Batting left-handed, Deverman looking to get a clean first inning of work. So the Kettleers in their first season with new skipper Lauren Hibbs, former Charlotte coach for almost 30 years between the early 1990s and all the way into the 2010s. Also some time with Wichita State as a player, as a coach, and in the front office as well. We've had the pleasure of talking to him a couple of times. Great guy.
Incredible man. He is well versed in the sport of college baseball, stories to tell, not just as a player, but as an assistant coach. As a coach, I mean, he was a national champion as an assistant coach for Wichita State.
That was his first coaching stop after playing at Wichita State back in the 80s. 1-2 count. Deverman 92 on the radar gun with that fastball. He's looking good early. The payoff pitch. In there, strike 3 called. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Kenton Deverman to start things off for the Cats. We'll go to our first break for the middle of the first here at Lowell Park. Bottom of the second here at Lowell Park. First chance for the Kets to bat. 1 through 3 for them. Jaron Advincula, then Camden Johnson, and PJ Mutsaridis. 2 returners out of that 3 for the Kets. Advincula, last year's batting title owner in the Cape Cod League, and Mutsaridis, a little less playing time, but those 2 made up the middle infield at Cal last year, and both very talented.
I mean, to have them both be middle infield as well. Those are 2 guys who are familiar with each other and most importantly familiar with the style of baseball out here. 2 guys that have been around the block, you can say. They've played these other teams. They've played at these other stadiums and places around the Cape. And when you have a new coaching staff and new guys coming in, it's important to have those leaders that have been in those places before.
They face off against Jack Volo, the starting pitcher. Right-hander out of Georgetown. And we'll see what he has against the vaunted top of the lineup for the Cotuit Kettleers. Advincula finished 2 years at Cal. He was a Golden Bear, but now in the transfer portal. So everything else up in the air right now. So when you look at the top of this lineup, Chris, who are you most excited to see? On the ground to third, routine for the man at the hot corner, Tyler Normandy, 1 down. He's on the left side of the infield with Anderson Jimenez at short, David Vanderzowen at second, A.J. Lysko at first, Max Dushny doing the catching today. It's Charlie Camello in center field. In left, Pat Casterly and Will Norris in right field.
And to answer your question, it has to be the man up to bat right now, Camden Johnson, newcomer for the Kets out of Wichita State. And boy, does he swing a good bat.
Camden Johnson finishing up his sophomore season at Wichita State. A shocker. So has that connection with Coach Hibbs?
Yeah, I bet Coach Hibbs was telling him all the good places in Wichita or around the campus to go to. And, I mean, his 2 years at Wichita State have been very productive. Each season he hit above 325, coming off a season where he hit just only 2 home runs, but had some good power as well, able to leg out some extra base hits, 17 doubles.
Good power to the gaps. Here comes the 2-0 from Volo. He puts one over the plate. But Johnson, look for him to be a threat in this lineup, standing 6'1", the lefty out of Bourne, Texas. Top 500 guy out of high school, too. Highly touted recruit. And the Shockers, a pretty solid baseball program.
Yeah, historically good mid-major. A lot of these guys coming from the mid-major schools are going to be facing guys that, you might say are from top conferences. You'll see a lot of guys from the SEC or the Big Ten. So this is a good opportunity to face that high level of competition all season long.
3-1 pitch was outside. First base runner of the day. Camden Johnson gets on with a walk.
Getting it done with his eye, not his bat. And those are equally as important, just to get those guys on base. And it'll be fun to see how the Cats approach runners on base. I know the Kettleers have been a very steal-happy team, you can say. There's a lot of action on the base paths. And so with a new coaching staff, you always have to wonder what traits stay and what traits are built up.
It'll be interesting to see what Coach Hibbs brings along from the former regime of Mike Roberts. Had a lot of success with him in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Mutsaridis up to bat with a man on first. Around a 260 average last year with Cal. Really solid contact back, good defender up the middle. 10 stolen bags too, so don't want to let him on. At least if you're Lexington. Runner goes. Throw down, not quite in time, and Camden Johnson fleet of foot as well. Double-digit stolen bags in summer ball last year.
And that quickly answers our question. Yes, it is an exhibition game, but to see guys running so quick, you have to think, yeah, this Cats team will be a threat on the base paths.
First stolen bag of the summer comes in exhibition fashion. And the main goal today for the Cats, get all the pitchers out there, see what all the arms that are currently in Catuit have to offer against another solid summer ball team, the Lexington Blue Sox.
11-time Intercity League champions.
And that's not in the longest span of time. They were founded in 1995 and already racking up 11 chips. Not too bad.
I mean, we can call it a Lexington Blue Sox dynasty in that league. I mean, when if you're winning the championship 33% of the time, I would say you're probably running things.
I think that's fair to say. Similar to the Yankees of old, or the Red Sox, you could say. Full count for Mutsaritas. Volo, 23 2/3 innings at Georgetown this past year. ERA around 9, but he was a workhorse for them. Struggled a little bit, but that's why you're here in summer ball. Refine your stuff.
Get those reps in. Get working on maybe some new pitches or tweak your delivery.
We'll see what he's got on 3 and 2. The offer. Hit on the ground towards short. Throw down in time. Took him off the bag, but got back down in time for out number 2. Brought Johnson to third.
A.J. Lisko over at first for Lexington. Really needing to stretch for that one. Able to keep a toe on the bag, but Mutsaritas able to advance Johnson over to third on that grounder in the infield. So now the first run of this exhibition game just 90 feet away.
Johnson with speed at third brings up Max Knight. Plays his baseball at Missouri State. Teammates with another soon-to-be Kettleer, Caden Bogenpole. He'll be on his way to the island rather soon. Max Knight, first base, and does a little bit of pitching. This summer, I think his main priority is going to be hitting the baseball.
Yeah, just one season at Missouri State, transferred after a freshman season at Oklahoma State where he didn't get a whole lot of reps batting, didn't pitch at all for the Pokes, but able to do a bit of both at Missouri State, and now it's just about building that bat up.
Hits one in the air. I think that's the first ball we've seen fly today at Lowell Park. It's a 2-1 count for Knight, who is more of a power hitter. 551 slug, 13 homers this past year as a Bear. And heck, you go back to that limited time at Oklahoma State. He was 3 for 6, so whenever he got a chance, he was hitting pretty well.
Well, he's peppering the parking lot behind us right now, sending some foul balls back that way. Hoping to get something into the outfield. He doesn't quite go for extra bases, only 8 doubles, but it seems he's liking the power.
He's facing a 2-2 count. Volo looking for a put-away pitch. Finds it, called strike 3. And that's how each half of the inning has ended here at Lowell Park. We're scoreless after 1 here on the Cape Baseball Network. Top of the second inning here at Lowell Park. 1-2-3 in the first for Kenton Deverman gives way to Preston Crowell. The second arm we've seen out of this Kettleers ball club. Crowell that is pitching at Virginia Tech. 3.90 ERA and 32 1/3 out of the pen this past year.
Some summer league experience for him as well. 2 seasons in summer ball in the Appy League, and
gets his first taste here.
The Futures Collegiate League, Vermont last season. So he's no stranger to New England.
Now in beautiful Cape Cod. And you heard the pop on that first pitch. He's got some good stuff. Gets a swing and a miss on the second from John Carlos Ramirez. He's followed by Luke Ward and Tyler Normandy. And it's as good of a time as ever to give you the Kets defense here. Ryan Farber at third. PJ Moutsaritas at short. Jared Vinkle at second base. Ethan Swidler at first. Anderson French is doing the catching in the outfield left to right. Camden Johnson, as that's the first strikeout for Preston Crowell. Good start for Kets pitching. Again, Camden Johnson in left field. Andrew Wiggins in center field out of Indiana. And Max Knight playing right field.
And no, it's not the Andrew Wiggins, the basketball player. I know we were both excited when we saw that name. But this summer's shaping up just to see all these players come in from everywhere. I mean, we're really getting the best of the best out here.
Sure are. Some more D1 talent on the side of the Blue Sox as well with Luke Ward from Holy Cross. He takes the first pitch, a strike, and Crowell is peppering the zone.
See a lot of Holy Cross guys on this Lexington Blue Sox roster. Rick DeAngelis, the manager, GM of the team from Holy Cross.
So there's the connection all throughout that. And Holy Cross, I guess there's a bit of a pipeline there. Still no score here at Lowell Park. Outfield's playing Ward slightly to the left. Nice pitch in the bottom corner, just missed. It's 1-2.
Tried to spin in a breaking ball. Almost made it back to the outside edge of the plate.
One down, the 1-2 count for Crowell. In there, got him looking. 2 strikeouts for Preston Crowell to start.
Both of them looking really fooling with the eyes of the Blue Sox players coming up to the plate. And we saw him try to work that breaking ball in, so a lot of movement on these pitches.
His third task, Tyler Normandy, the man at the hot corner today for Lexington. Normandy playing his college ball at Worcester State. First pitch to him is a strike. I think we can talk a little bit of Kets now. And last season, pretty successful, made it to the playoff, but got bounced. And, of course, they are one of the most storied teams in Cape Cod Baseball League history, and they're looking to reload with the new manager, Lauren Hibbs, like we've talked about already, and it's very exciting to see what they can do this year. The 0-2. Inside chopped foul.
I mean, we mentioned Lexington and their 11 championships, how you could say there's a dynasty there. I would say the Cotuit Kettleers have been the face of the team to beat here in the Cape League. 17 titles for the Kets.
The 0-2. In the dirt. Try to get him fishing. Both these teams have some history of big leaguers. You look at the Blue Sox and most recently Sal Frelick, center fielder for the Milwaukee Brewers, amongst a handful of other guys throughout the years. It's low again. It's 2-2. And you look at the list for the Kettleers, and it's a long one, to say the least. Some names like, I'll throw out John Franco to start, an old school one, and You know, one you might like a little more there, Charlie Blackmon, Rockies
Chuck
legend.
Nasty.
It's foul again, but Chris, the resident Rockies fan, Colorado native.
I'm sure we'll talk about ourselves a little bit throughout the summer, but yes, I'm hailing from Colorado, so people will soon find out my Rockies love, though I won't talk about it too much. Not a whole lot to so far.
Swing and a miss. All three down by the strikeout. We are through 1.5 complete here at Lowell Park. Bottom of the second here at Lowell Park. Jack Volo with a solid first frame, walked one, but retired 3 more to get out of that one scoreless. A strikeout to his name, he's going out. For a second one, the Georgetown kid facing off against Ryan Farber, Anderson French, and Ethan Swidler. 5, 6, and 7 in the Ketts lineup. Some names to watch out for fans around here.
Yeah, Anderson French, he's a catcher for the Ketts, will be catching, and he's batting 6th in the lineup. So I love a good catcher who's hitting middle of the lineup. I don't like seeing catchers down in the bottom third of the lineup. Get a catcher who can swing the stick.
French certainly capable with the bat. Farber's up now, the third baseman from Texas State. Takes a first pitch strike. Volo getting up early.
Yeah, 2 seasons at Texas State, and I mean, it's hard to top his first season where he was hitting .340, but last season they just wrapped up 4 home runs, 33 RBIs.
Rips one into right field, first base hit of the game for the Ketts. And you can see that bat-to-ball skill on display.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 59 hits for Farber this past year, and this is what he'll do. He'll get on base, and then he'll cause havoc out there. 17 stolen bases for Farber this past spring. Only 4 of those times, or only 4 times he was caught stealing. So expect Farber to start running around.
Watch out for him on the base paths. Here's French, the catcher. Going into his sophomore year at Virginia Tech. Takes a first pitch ball. 77 at-bats, not the most action as a Hokie, but he put together a solid season. 21 walks, a .416 on-base percentage. That was his real calling card this season as the runner goes, but not before that ball's ripped over the head of the first baseman. Going first to third is Farber on the French single.
Yeah, that ball was looped about the same spot that Farber struck his single, and Farber was off with the pitch. Whether it was a hit and run or Farber was kind of surprised, you saw him pause for a brief second between first and second, look up, find the ball, and then once he saw that it wasn't caught, turned on the wheels, and then he's now standing at third base.
Now it's Ethan Swidler. Ketts with 2 on via the single. Volo, I'm sure, looking for one on the ground here. Swidler The right-handed swinging, typically a catcher, but in the lineup as a designated hitter today. Plays in the Patriot League at Lafayette. Two-time All-Patriot League first team this year and last season. Has been so good there. Swidler digs in. It's a 1-1 count. Runner goes. And they didn't even challenge French.
Yeah, not one of those times where you want to throw down to second and then give an opportunity for Farber to break for home. So now 2 in scoring position for Catuit. No outs. Good opportunity for the first run to cross the plate.
Swidler could jump on one here. It's 1-2. Infield's pinched in. Good take on the outside. A lot of sliders early for Jack Volo.
Not afraid to throw a pitch breaking away from the batter, get a strikeout swinging, try to have one chase.
Volo's got 1 K to his name so far. The 2-2. Hit high in the air. Deep into left center field. Coming back on it and making the grab is Casserly for the first out. And that'll score a run. The first of this exhibition game for the Kettleers.
That ball was really well struck. It was traveling high, traveling far, but a bit of a longer outfield here at Lowell Park. Nearly 400 feet to dead center, so that ball does have to carry quite a bit. But again, certainly deep enough to score Farber from third.
This brings up Andrew Wiggins, left-handed swinging center fielder from Indiana. Native of Indianapolis, went to his hometown school. Hits it on the ground, straight to the pitcher. Volo had a play at second. Tosses it to first in time to retire Wiggins, 2 down.
Yeah, Anderson French at second base really got a great secondary lead, and it almost turned out to be of harm to him, as all Volo had to do was turn around and throw it back to second base, and then French is caught in a pickle. Instead, went to the easy out at first base.
So Volo benefits from a quick out number 2. Brings us to the 9-hitter Ryan Jaros out of NC State. So now it's 1 man on, French on second. It's a 1-0 ball game.
Jaros spending time throughout the Atlantic Coast Conference. Freshman year he played at Georgia Tech and then transferred over to NC State. Very successful at both stops.
Career batting average over 300. Only 35 at-bats at Tech. But he hit 343, over a 500 on-base percentage, and hit 304 this past year with NC State. Still limited plate appearances, 88 for the sophomore going into his junior year. The right-hander looking at a 2-0 count now. Got sawed off. That went foul. It's 2-1.
Wind really swirling here at Lowell Park. You can see the American flag out in center field from our vantage point, pretty much billowing straight out away from home plate.
That's a foul ball. Just hit straight down into home plate. 2-2, so Volo's getting back into this count. So now that everyone has been up to bat, including Jaros, who have you been most impressed by at the plate?
Yeah, I liked Farber. Impressive bat-to-ball skills. A great contact off the bat to drop one into right field, and then off with the first pitch. I mean, eager to make a jump on the base paths.
French is on second. Nice pitch, but didn't get in there. 3-2.
Just a bit high. Catuit with the maroon lettering across the chest. It was about an inch or two above that lettering on the chest.
Got the pinstripe jerseys at home. Blue Sox wearing the red and blues. cracked high in the air into foul ground. First baseman calling for it. Couldn't find it. Got lost in the sun.
Lisco was running over, glasses gleaming, battling the cloudy overcast sky here. That baseball can get lost up in it. I mean, the sun is poking through, but when you get that white ball lost up against the white clouds, it is easy to just not be able to get a good read on it.
3-2 count. French on second. Volo deals. Hit on the ground again. Jaros working a really long at-bat against Jack Volo, fighting everything off, and did catch a little bit of a break with that ball getting lost in the clouds, as you said. So we'll see if he can do anything with the 3-2 pitch coming up next.
Jaros really good at extending these counts. Double-digit walks in each of his stops in the ACC.
The 3-2. Cracked foul again. Do it again. Not to mention, very few strikeouts. Only 32 between over 100 at-bats at the college level. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball to leave French stranded. And it stays a 1-0 ball game. Catuit gets the lead here at Lowell Park after 2 complete. Catuit's up.
No, you're muted. You're muted. Don't worry.
Changes are coming to college sports, and they can impact the players you're watching right now. Starting as early as July 1st, Division I schools can directly pay college athletes for the first time, thanks to a major antitrust settlement just announced on Friday. Athletes will now be compensated by their athletic departments on top of already present NIL deals, with schools set to distribute up to $20.5 million per year to their players. The NCAA also agreed to pay nearly $2.8 billion to former athletes from 2016 onward. Add in the removal of amateurism and a new roster-based system, a whole new era kicks off the NCAA. Connor and Chris, back to you.
Thank you very much, Brooke. It's definitely a new time in the NCAA right now. You'll hear a lot more from Brooke later this game and later this season.
Yeah, very excited to have her be the third member of our team. I think she'll bring the professionalism, make us sound better.
David Vanderzouen starting things off in this inning, the second baseman. And then it's Pat Casserly and Max Ducheney. An extra hitter in this lineup, so it's a 10-man group for the Lexington Blue Sox. And it's Chase Swift, the new arm on the bump. I think the plan is one every inning. She gets to try out their stuff, and so far, Deverman and Krell, very successful. Couple strikeouts for each of them. Batted ball up into the air. Easy one and left for Johnson. Retires Vanderzouen for out number 1.
Yeah, whether you call it great scouting or a bit of luck, Johnson was right there. Maybe had to take 2 steps in front of him to track that ball down. But that's one of the first. That is the first flyout we've seen from the Blue Sox. It's been a lot of strikeouts, and now we're seeing maybe some contact and see how the Ket's infield and outfield deal.
Casserly waved at that one. Chase Swift, the man on the mound, another Hokie. Teammates with Krell. Started a few games this year, more as an opener though. 14 appearances, 8 starts, 29 1/3 innings pitched, and he's getting some swing and miss early.
A beautiful pitch there, breaking ball. It stayed outside, but man, it looked tempting and generated a nice swing from Casserly, unable to make contact.
And that's his thing, swing and miss. 47 Ks in 29 1/3 innings. He can miss bats, and that pitch was just off the plate. Could have gone either way, 88 miles an hour. He's from Virginia, Chester, 5'11" lefty. Just finished his freshman campaign. Swift, strikeout looking, gets his first of the day.
Well, the strikeout train continues for Catuit. Every pitcher that has came into this game has registered a K, and a lot of them are with confidence. That was a really well-pitched at-bat for Swift to get some swinging strikes and then fool him with the last pitch.
Now it's Max Ducheney, the catcher from Bates College. Big cut and a miss at the first one. Swift is moving through this one easily. Trying not to say swiftly, but can't help that one, right?
It's a perfect gift.
And he's got 2 strikes already to Ducheney. If he strikes out Ducheney, every Ket pitcher so far will have struck out at least 2 batters. Here it comes. Way outside. Lost the handle on that one. It's the first time we've seen him miss, though.
I tried to add an extra mile per hour on the radar gun. Just overthrew it.
Just outside again. And he doesn't blow you away. That fastball's coming in at 88, 89, but the breaking pitches are really where it's at. Just a ton of movement on everything. And it's tough to live like that, especially in Division I baseball in the ACC with Virginia Tech, but he's making it happen, and he just made it happen right there. Strike 3 swinging. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Kets. Going to the middle of the 3rd here at Lowell Park. Bottom of the third, Cats Blue Sox here at Lowell Park. Exhibition game for each of these teams. New pitcher out there, Matt Draper from UMass Lowell by way of Quinnipiac from Lowell, so hometown kid.
See if he has a bit of a homecoming here in this one.
He faces off against the top of the order, Jared Vincula, Camden Johnson, PJ Mutsaridis again. Advincula grounded out to third his first time up. Not a surprise he put the bat to ball.
Well, he is the contact king of the Cape for good reason. Looking for his first base hit of this exhibition game.
Draper on the bump against him for the third inning. Looks like he's done with college ball. Last pitched at UMass Lowell in 2023. Started 14 games, 82 innings. Real workhorse, the ace of their staff. Has a whip-like delivery. That one was in the dugout. Watch your head.
Brushed back, a couple of the Blue Sox leaning up against the green fence of the dugout.
Not a lot of movement on the mound for Draper, at least with that front leg. Almost no leg kick to be seen out of Matt Draper. Very abbreviated motion, but has that whip-like arm action, almost sidearm, when he gets to home plate.
Reminds me a bit of a Madison Bumgarner slingshot. Former San Francisco Giant. A lot of arm movement, not a lot of lower body.
Generates all that power with arm, and he's throwing 90, so that's pretty impressive to get that with all upper body.
6'5", 190. That arm movement, that's all he needs.
Right back to us. Huge fence right behind home plate protects us, but that one felt like it was right into our living room.
Yeah, Jared Vincula's waking us up back here, keeping us on our toes.
Vincula keeping the bat on the ball. It's a 2-2 count still, and this is just what he did at Cal for these past 2 years. Just wait for that pitch he wants to swing at and actually get a base hit out of, but just foul everything else off. And there it is. Cracked into right field. First knock for Jared Vincula in this young season.
And see, this is what Jared Vincula does. There were a couple of those borderline pitches, and with 2 strikes, there's no one who can really protect the plate better than him. His freshman year at Cal, 16 strikeouts, 26 walks. He's able to extend that count, get a ball that he likes, and if you don't walk him, you leave one over the plate, he's going to deposit it into the outfield.
It's hard to win against Jared Vincula if you're a pitcher. Could say the same for Camden Johnson back in. He was the first Cats base runner, got a walk and made it all the way around to third, but ultimately did not score in that first inning.
Johnson last summer played for the Hutchinson Monarchs of the Jayhawk Collegiate League. 15 walks, only 11 strikeouts, and 101 plate appearances.
Over a 400 on-base percentage, the product of that. Had a 402 on-base percentage at school this year as well. Cracks that one into the catcher's mitt. Down 0-2 with Advincula on first. What do you think the approach is here?
Man, Vincula does have some speed on the base paths. He's been dancing over at first base. Try to protect this count, maybe get a ground ball, get a Vincula running.
Here comes the 0-2. Hit on the ground. That'll get Advincula to second, and it'll get Johnson to first. That one just rolled and rolled and rolled, and Jimenez couldn't get to it in time. There's 2 on.
I mean, that baseball just died once it got to about the pitcher's mound. Took 1-2 hops in the grass and slowed down. When Jimenez got to that ball, there was nothing he could do. Vincula got a great jump, and Johnson has speed. I mean, he was already over at first.
Now it's Mutsaritas with 2 on and no outs. 4 hits for the Cats. High pop-up into center field. Camello's under it. Advincula tags on his way. Each runner tags, and both of them make it up a base. Station to station, Advincula and Johnson on the flyout.
Only the first out of this inning, so you could call it a very productive out. I mean, Advincula and Johnson both advancing, and Mutsaritas getting guys into scoring position again. He did it his first at-bat. He was able to ground a ball and get Johnson over to third.
It's telling how aggressive this Cats team is on the base paths. This is just an exhibition game, so you take some things with a grain of salt, but having both runners tag up on a pop-up to center like that, you don't see it often coming from first base.
No, not at all, and I'm excited. I think action on the base paths makes an exciting season, being able to always get guys into scoring position quickly.
And we talked about it a little bit. That's what this team has been known for. So, more of that under the new regime, which is a whole lot of fun. Knight's back up to bat. He struck out looking his first time up. Big swing. 1-2. So we'll see if Knight sees some time on the mound today or during the season, but he got a lot of work with Missouri State. 47 2/3 innings to a 4.34 ERA. Long relief guy, 24 appearances, 58 strikeouts as well. Another ball into the parking lot for Knight as well.
You could kind of call him a utility pitcher just because he was doing a bit of everything. He had a couple starts, 3 saves, so he's familiar with every part of the game from a pitching standpoint.
That's a swing man if you ever seen one. In the dirt, no offer from Knight. Draper's got a nice mix, but the Cats haven't really been biting on a lot of his stuff. Infield pinched in with 2 in scoring position. Lifted high in the air off to the left side of the infield. Who's got it? And was that cut? No catch. At bat extends, but that was a scary one. Jimenez and Normandy both ran into each other in foul ground. I will say we're a little obstructed by the way the fence is designed, but you could just see them out of the corner run into each other right there.
Now Jimenez is over at shortstop. Normandy is at third. He had the good play, but Jimenez came charging in at the very end, calling for it.
Hit on the ground. It's a hot one towards second. Play made easily, but runs scored. 2 on the board for the Kettleers. Jaron Advincula scores on the Max Knight grounder.
A lot of smaller ball, you could say. Not quite the bunting guys into scoring position, but the Kettleers are not afraid to get a ground ball, contact, and then send runners on that said ground ball. That's how they've been moving guys into scoring position, and it's working out so far.
Call it a baseball-y play. I think that's what we have there.
A very baseball-y play.
Ryan Farber's up. He had the first hit for the Cats. A single back in the second. Sees a strike on the bottom corner. Farber from Texas State. Correct foul. Hit .267 this past year in a fine season, and we talked about it a little more. Really good as a freshman. .340 batting average, 28 walks to 9 strikeouts. Incredible contact numbers. Great in the box, and he still walked 30 times this past year, so hasn't lost any of it. Sends one into left field, charging for it, and letting it drop and scoring a run for the Kettleers on his way to second. A double for Farber. They'll probably call that a single advance on the throw. Regardless, that's an RBI. Driving in Johnson.
I mean, this is the inning where the Cats' contact has really come alive. 3 hits, and the guys who haven't gotten a hit Mutsaritas, who moved runners into scoring position. Knight, who brought in an RBI. This is where the bats are starting to really feel some life.
Passing the bat to Anderson French. He singled after Farber back in the second. 6'5" catcher. Really big lead for Farber out there at second as well. He's back on the bag now, but he was a good 10, 15 feet off of it previously. Draper's ready. Swing and a miss for French. Wanted all of that one. Was a fastball, pretty much right in his wheelhouse, too. French, a top 500 player in the nation coming out of high school. Just completed that freshman year at Virginia Tech as that's high in the air. Similar spot as that last one, but it's going to draw out of play and into the stands. No play from a fan. That one just bounced up and behind the stands over there, and I think that actually almost hit a couple of our interns sitting up there on the right side. Should have brought their gloves.
Should have brought their gloves. Have to pay attention. Making sure that they're doing their job.
Everyone's got to stay on their toes. That one gets away from the catcher, and advancing to third is Farber. So trouble in this inning for the Blue Sox. Draper yet to record a strikeout, has recorded 2 outs. Looking to end it here, 2-2 count to Anderson French on the ground foul. French standing at 6'5". It's a pretty tall group for the catch this year. We've been talking about it a little bit as we've been preparing for the season. But you got Bogenpole, the other guy from Missouri State, coming in at 6'5". Max Knight, 6'3". There's a lot of size on this roster. Especially that pitching staff. Mason Davenport, 6'9" arm. He's not here yet, but he's imposing on the mound. That's a walk for French.
And as French trots down to first base, I will say if we ever get a Davenport French battery, I will have to stat check this. That might be the tallest average battery in the Cape League this summer.
We will be looking into that very soon once the regular season begins. Next Sunday is the home opener, I should say. First game for the Kets. The regular season is this Saturday against Orleans. We'll make our first road trip as well.
That'll be a good trip out to Eldridge Park.
Then the home opener against Harwich. Runner goes, and French is going to be caught in a pickle here. See if the Blue Sox can get him. Runner goes at third. Throw back to home. French is at second now. And he's back to third, so successful base running from the Kets. And that's the story of this game so far. The base running of the Cotuit Kettleers has been mind-boggling in a good way.
As soon as French took off towards second, you could see Farber start dancing towards home plate, and the Blue Sox sniffed it out. But Farber able to take advantage of a ball that just popped out of the glove.
Smash into left field, into the glove of Casserly. That retires the side. 3 runs on the board now for Catuit. They're up 3-0 after 3.5 here at Lowell Park. Top of the fourth here at Lowell Park. New arm out there for the Kets. It's Max Hogg out of George Washington from the 8-10. 3 solid years there. 52 innings pitched this last season. His biggest workload yet. And another tall guy out there for the Kets, 6'4", adding to what we were talking about last inning. So much height.
I mean, there's a lot of size in this Kets arm rotation, which allows them to not only get up there in velocity, you sometimes see these bigger guys get more velocity, but the angle of the pitch as well, coming down. I mean, that mound is already higher above the infield grass. So when you get those long frames, that ball just comes in at such a different angle.
And you hear that a little bit in talking about advanced stats. Extension is a big thing people are looking at today in the major leagues and the college levels. So the taller you are, you might get a little more leeway as a pitcher. I mean, you think about Randy Johnson, 6'10", back in his day. Imagine that bearing down on you, especially with the stuff he had.
Be a scary sight.
This is Will Norris in the box. Playing right field today after him should be Camelo and then Jimenez, the 1 and 2 hitters. 1-1 count from Hogg. 59 strikeouts. Could punch tickets at the mid-major level. He's got a 1 and 2 count now. Swing and a miss. Hogg, a nice breaking pitch down to 76.
Well, you mentioned last inning when Swift came in and struck out 2 that every Kettleers pitcher has struck out at least 2 in their inning of work. Hogg is halfway there, only 1 out, so we'll see if he can become the first Kets pitcher to get 3 strikeouts in an inning.
Well, I got to fact check you on that. Crowell, 3 in his frame, if I'm not mistaken.
That you are right. Sorry, Hogg, you got beat to the punch. Crowell does have that title.
Well, it is possible to get 4 in an inning. You know, if you get one that pops out of the catcher's mitt and somehow the runner advances to first base, you can get another one out of that. So you never know. Takes outside. This is actually Luke Maltasia. Another George Washington player. It's a catcher, right-handed stick, or lefty in the box. Strike on the outside corner. Blue Sox still looking to get their first knock of the day. Put a couple in the air. Vanderzauwen has the only flyout of the day. A lot of stuff on the ground and a lot of strikeouts. Kets pitching so far has struck out 8 batters. No base runners yet either for the Blue Sox.
And we just had our first pitch clock violation of this exhibition. Hogg the recipient, so now it's 3-1.
And now time for the pitcher. Anderson French wants to go out there. Maybe a pitch comm issue. He's looking at the wrist.
Trying to resync it.
So it's a 3-1 count, 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Hogg deals. Swing and a miss. Picking up right where he left off. Hogg, another top 500 player nationally coming into college, and that's strike 3. Continuing the path of Kets with 2 or more strikeouts so far. Their pitching has been on one today.
That is now the 9th strikeout of this game for Catuit pitching, and we're only 2 outs into the 4th inning.
Jimenez looking to break the streak. That marks 4 straight retired by the strikeout. Going all the way back to Pat Casserly in the 3rd. 2-0 count to Jimenez. Struck out his first time up. He was actually the first K victim of the game. Cracked on the ground towards first. Gonna have to flip this one to the pitcher in time. For out number 3, another clean one. Max Hogg is successful in his frame. Middle of the 4th here at Lowell Park. It's 3-0 Cats. Bottom of the 4th, Blue Sox Cats. It's 3-0 Catuit. New arm out there, Dan Metzdorf. Formerly pitched at Boston College. 5'10" lefty. First pitch in there, a ball to Andrew Wiggins starting off the inning for the Cats. Then it's Ryan Jaros, and then Jared Vincula back to the top of the lineup. Wiggins had a quick ground out to the pitcher, his only time up after just one pitch seen. Metzdorf, the lefty, pumps that one in a strike.
Metzdorf's spending some time in the minor leagues, the Chicago White Sox organization.
Tapper fell, just barely, but got drafted out of Boston College back in 2019, the 5th round. 2.30 ERA at BC, his final year, 2019. So this guy's got some real pedigree coming back to the Blue Sox.
And there's not a lot of guys out on this field right now that can say they've pitched in the White Sox organization. A lot of these guys are trying to take this next step and get into the minor leagues.
Maybe a guy like Metzdorf, a bit of a mentor figure for some of the younger guys on the team, I'm sure. And Wiggins is doing a good job of fighting off the former pro ball player. Got a 1-2 count, fought off a couple tough pitches. Wiggins, big on base guy in Indiana. 38 walks to 36 strikeouts this past year. 14-14 his freshman year. Way inside. Wiggins going to be a big part of this Cats lineup coming up. A lot of names to be excited about, like we've talked about very much. Some of them not here quite yet. Rintaro Sasaki, Caden Bogenpole, Lucas Moore. At Louisville, Tate Davis. We haven't talked about those guys yet, but Louisville in the Super Regional right now in college baseball in the NCAA tournament. Those guys are hitting. Swing and a miss. First strikeout victim of the inning, Wiggins, one down.
Yeah, Rintaro Sasaki, we've heard the rumors bringing a film crew with him up to the Cape this season, so we'll be able to enjoy that presence. And, I mean, when you have a guy of that pedigree, Sasaki, coming in, breaking all of the home run records for Japanese high school baseball, there's plenty to be excited about.
That's roped into left field, down towards the corner. Jaros jogging for second, and he will be in there easily with a stand-up double.
Jaros wasting no real time to swing at a pitch that he liked, get on base. It's an extra base hit for Jaros, one of the guys that will hunt for extra bases any day of the week. I mean, coming into this one, his seasons at Georgia Tech and NC State, 4 doubles in each of those seasons. Not a whole lot of playing time, though, so he has the wheels to turn those extra base hits into something special.
And if anyone can bring him home, it's Jared Vincula. Takes one inside corner. Had a single and scored his last time up. All Pac-12 first-teamer 2 years ago as a freshman in the final year of the conference's existence. It's coming back, though.
In a bit of a different way. They're poaching a lot of teams from the Mountain West. Oregon State and Washington State remaining in the Pac-12. So you could say the Pac is back. It won't have Jared Vincula, though.
It's interesting to see the new look. It will be unfortunate to see a Pac-12 without teams like Oregon, Washington, even like a Stanford and Cal, but it'll be a really interesting look to see the almost high major teams of the Mountain West, especially like your Boise States and San Diego State programs that have been very successful in multiple sports, going to the Pac-12 and kind of reshaping things as he fights that off to left field. Deposited for a base hit. Jaros is going to chug for home. And Vincula diving into second with an RBI double.
Yeah, Jaros and Vincula trading places out on the diamond. Back-to-back doubles for the Cats. And Vincula, he's peppering them to every part of the field. We saw him get a single into right. That one a double into left. And you look at Vincula and what he was able to do his sophomore season. He was really able to put the ball everywhere. Not just cracking it, towards the pull side. He was really hitting them anywhere in the outfield, really getting a good feel of the bat on ball.
And when you're looking at a good hitter, there are some guys who are known as really good pull hitters, able to get it over the fence, whichever way they're swinging it. But a real great hitter, a guy who can just put the ball in play like that, they have a spray chart that's all over the place in the outfield. And Vincula is like that, and you can kind of comp him to a guy like Stephen Kwan in the batter's box. Obviously not the same position, but hitting-wise, those two have a very similar profile.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of Vincula utilizing the outfield for those base hits. He does have a bit more power. He had 5 home runs his freshman year at Cal, 6 his sophomore season. Only 1 out on the Cape, so looking for a few more this season. Growing into a, you could say, larger frame, with that Cal workout plan.
It'll be a new one next year. In the portal. There are a lot of guys these days. Here's Camden Johnson, 1-2 count for him. Hits it high into left field, chasing it down is Casserly. It's out of play. Johnson, a walk and a single, gotten on base each time so far. All-American Athletic Conference freshman teamer a couple of years ago. Second team All-AAC that year as well. Over a 320 average over 2 college seasons. Vincula dancing and going as that's hit straight to the shortstop. And that will be 2 easily to end the inning. The unassisted double play for the shortstop. Jimenez, it is 3-0 for the Kettleers going into the 5th inning. Top of the fifth, another new arm for the Kettleers. It's Jack Decker, lefty out of Saginaw Valley State, and had the pleasure of calling some of his games last summer in the Coastal Plain League, and he was lights out there, a 1.13 ERA with the Morehead City Marlins, looking to carry that into another summer ball season after a successful regular season at SVSU, 3.58 ERA in 73 innings.
6'1", 150 left-hander. Bit of a lanky frame up on the mound, but quite the workhorse.
Gets the job done. Swing and a miss. That first pitch, that was Lisco.
73 innings pitched this past spring at Saginaw Valley. Only allowed 29 earned runs.
Hit high into right field. Chasing it down is Knight. And out of the glove, on his way to second is Lisco with what could be a double. We'll see how it's scored. And they call it a hit.
It was a looping breaking ball that stayed over the plate, and Lisco was able to get a good bat on it, and the wind was pushing it away from Knight as he was charging out. Wiggins was trying to help him out, but just landed right in between the two of them, and that's the first hit of this ball game for Lexington.
Big one out to right field, and that was a tough play for Knight. Out there running that one down. I got to correct myself real quick. It's 4-0 Kets. Coming out of that fourth inning, there was that RBI double. Jared Vincula hit brought in Ryan Jaros. Just happened so quickly in the inning and just went by. But it is indeed 4-0 Kets over the Lexington Blue Sox at this point. Decker, an 0-1 count to Giancarlos Ramirez. Decker, the thing he does is limit the long ball. Over 100 innings between Morehead City and Saginaw Valley State over the past calendar year. Only 5 homers allowed. Here comes the 1-2. Way outside. Big swing from Ramirez. First strikeout for Decker.
And after that leadoff double, quickly getting back into the groove of what Kets pitchers have been doing all afternoon, which is striking out batters. And Decker able to utilize the strikeout swinging.
10 Ks for Kets pitchers through 4 1/3 at this point. Lefty-lefty matchup with Luke Ward here. Watches one fly by. Strike number 1. Ward, recent high school graduate, hasn't started to play at Holy Cross quite yet, but getting some very, very, very valuable experience here at Lowell Park and hitting against guys like Jack Decker. It's not a bad way to kind of shake off the rust. Decker's got him 0-2, a runner on second. Here it comes. Swing through to the hole to third, and no play for Farber to make. That one just straight into the glove, so kind of a slow tapper, swinging bunt type of deal there for Luke Ward. Gets him on 2 hits for the Blue Sox.
It was another one of those breaking balls that just dropped over the plate, and Ward was able to extend his hands and get the end of the bat on the ball. That's why it kind of jumped off slowly towards third base, and by the time it got to the glove of Farber, both runners had either reached base safely or had stood firm at second.
These are the first 2 base runners today for the Blue Sox. Here in the top of the 5th. Now it's up to Tyler Normandy to get something going with 1 down and 2 on. Normandy hit .340 at Worcester State this past year. Righty-lefty matchup against Decker. Figure we look ahead to some future Cats matchups after that beautiful pitch from Jack Decker. A week from now, the home opener for the Cats against Wareham, the Gatemen, 5 o'clock on the 15th. Then another home tilt against Orleans the next day. So that's 4 straight days of Cats baseball. Have the first road game on the 14th against Orleans, and then go to Harwich to face off against the Mariners, as that's a called strike 3. 2 down, and Jack Decker continuing the trend of 2 or more strikeout pitchers for the Cats.
Yeah, the strikeouts seem to be coming in pairs for the Cats pitchers. Really finding out where to work in the zone, and that's what this exhibition game is for. Figure out what's working, figure out what's not working. And for the Cats pitchers, it's really dialing it in, those pitches, right towards the zone, getting batters swinging and looking.
First pitch was on the ground to Vanderzowen. Flew out his last time up. 2 on, 2 down. Big situation to try to cut in this 4-0 lead that the Cats possess. Looking into this season, Chris, what team are you most excited to see?
You know, I have to go with maybe the more typical answer, Hyannis. Interdivision rivalry. A lot of history between the Cats and the Harbor Hawks, playing for the Barnstable Patriot Cup. So I think those games, both home and away, are always going to be fun, filled with fans from both teams. So plenty to look forward to from that aspect.
Of course, there's no long road trip out here on the Cape, but that'll be one of the closer ones, called strike 3. Jack Decker retires the side with 3 strikeouts. That's 12 today for Cats pitching. They're up 4-0 after 4.5 complete.
Welcome back to Lowell Park, here in the gorgeous Cape Cod Gym, Catuit, Massachusetts. Chris Albright joined alongside Connor Shue, taking over on play-by-play for you. New pitcher on the bump for the Lexington Blue Sox. It is Michael O'Brien, 6'3", 195, out of Houston, Texas, playing for Tufts.
Solid career so far at Tufts as well. Big lefty, a 3.15 ERA this past year in 20 innings out of the pen. A handful of starts, 9 in his career, but not too many innings. More of an opener type of role for him.
First batter he'll be facing, P.J. Moutsouridis. First pitch to him, cracked towards left field, drifting towards the line and down. Mutsaritas looking for second. Plenty of pep in his step, and he'll throw on the brakes with a leadoff double.
Wasted no time putting the barrel on the ball on that one. Mutsaritas got the hands around quickly. And that's what you want out of your contact guy, just able to get the bat to ball in a hurry and drive one pull side.
First hit of the day for PJ. Make it 1 for 3 on the day for him. Good to see him in the hitting department, and Max Knight stands up to bat. Another Kettleer looking for his first hit of the day. 0 for 2, but does have an RBI. Offering to him, he'll take for strike 1. Ryan Farber stands on deck. Knight with a strikeout looking in the first, grounded out in the third, but brought in a run. He awaits the 0-1 as O'Brien checks the runner, now delivers. Knight able to get a piece of that looping breaking ball, 73 miles per hour. 0-2.
Looks like it's a pretty good pitch for O'Brien. Tough one to lay off of since that one starts so high up in the air. It drops so much, and Knight taking his cuts at it.
0-2, 1 on, no out here. Bottom of the 5th. Chopped foul towards the Lexington Blue Sox dugout over on the first base side. You can see some blue sky now starting to peek through as it warms up here out on the Cape. 65 degrees. Not a whole lot of wind. It's died down. Shaping up to be a beautiful afternoon here on this Sunday. 0-2. Chopped foul again, and we'll do it. 0-2. Good amount of people out here for this exhibition, both in the home grandstand and away grandstand. Call it a couple hundred on the day. O'Brien battling Max Knight. And Knight takes. It's a strikeout, bottom part of the zone. First strikeout of the campaign for O'Brien.
Great pitch for O'Brien, and I think we just have to mention the family pedigree for him here. Son of Bill O'Brien, well known to be the former Texans head coach, current Boston College head coach, has quite the resume on him.
So what I'm hearing is O'Brien might have a good football career after this as well. I mean, could we call him a dual sport athlete?
I'm sure you could. We got to find out if he played football in high school. He had to. Just baseball and basketball for O'Brien, it looks like.
So I guess being around football your entire life, you're probably a little tired of it come playing time in high school or middle school. So he went the baseball route, and after striking out Max Knight, he'll be facing Ryan Farber. 1-1 the count to him. Yeah, a lot more teams available to play for in baseball. There's no minor league football yet.
Well, they tried NFL Europe a while ago. That didn't really last forever.
Not quite sure if post-college, if you're borderline, NFL or trying to get there, you want to hook it over to Europe for a season. That's quite the travel distance.
We got the UFL and the XFL now, or I think just the UFL at this point.
1-2 pitch just a bit inside. 2-2 will be the count here with 1 out. I believe the USFL and XFL combined. Now they're the United Football League, which I'm sure Bill O'Brien would know a lot about.
I'm sure.
2-2 pitch, looping breaking ball, grounded towards short, gobbled and thrown to first in time to retire Farber. Mutsaritas scampers to third. There'll be a man on third for the Kets here with 2 outs as Anderson French steps up to the plate.
French looking to keep that on-base streak going. A single and a walk for him so far today.
The tall left-handed hitting catcher awaits the first pitch. 82 mile per hour. Caught the outside bottom part of the zone. 0-1. Middle infield playing with their heels a foot or so from the outfield grass. 1-1. Outfield playing about halfway between the infield dirt and the fence. There's a lot of space out in the outfield, so don't need to play too deep. French takes a strike. Again, bottom part of the zone, 1-2. And when looking out to the outfield, you get a great view of these bullpens. Not your traditional bullpens that you see on the sides. 1-2, chopped foul, but right back behind the plate. And Connor, we took a walk around the fencing of this park, and we saw the bullpens up close. They've got some benches for the relief pitchers to sit on. Here's the 1-2 pitch inside at the belt, 2-2. I mean, it looks pretty fun out there.
I'd say so. Some of the Cats were sat up on that bench when we walked by. Not a bad seat over there. There's 6 or 7 of them over there right now taking in the game.
French strikes out swinging. Catuit strands a runner at third, and O'Brien able to buckle down and retire 3 straight Cats. It's still a 4-0 ball game. We'll head to the 6th inning here on the Cotuit Kettleers radio network. Top of the 6th here, and we'll kick it to the 3rd member of our team, Brooke Kilgore.
Cape Cod League offers players of any collegiate year a chance to showcase their abilities in the wake of the MLB draft. Catuit fans can remember the efforts of second baseman Jaron Advincula, whose 392 batting average and 51 hits cemented his CCBL batting title and an all-star recognition. The rising junior from Cal returns to the 508, coming off a 365 season with 6 long balls, 28 RBI, and 9 stolen bases. Advincula's homecoming joins other Kettleers, such as outfielder Easton Winfield and fellow Golden Bear PJ Moutsaritas. Chris and Connor, back to you.
Thank you, Brooke. As we're here, top of the 6th, Catuit leading the Lexington Blue Sox 4-0 in this exhibition game. And now pitching for the Cats, Ryan Buckler. As there's a grounder to short, thrown out at first.
So switch Acosta and Cayman. Switch them up.
As we're getting all the names and numbers situated for the Blue Sox.
So this is Bobby D'Agostino. Caught last inning.
Okay, Bobby D'Agostino up for Lexington. A sword stab at that pitch. 91 miles per hour from the Florida Atlantic hurler, Ryan Buckler. A familiar name and face for Catuit fans. He pitched for Catuit last season. Only 1 appearance, went 3 innings. Back for his 2nd season of work in a Cats uniform. Up in the count 0-2. on D'Agostino. Doesn't take. 1-2 is the count. Buckler 6'1", 175. When you're going up after 6'4" pitchers, swing and a miss, strike 3, that's a strikeout for Buckler. I was going to say, when you're going up after these 6'4", 6'5" guys, you know, you got tall shoes to fill, you could say, but Buckler able to do just that. First batter he faces, it's a strikeout.
Looking good early from FAU. Produced some solid ball there and trying to carry that over the Cape.
Well, he knows what he's doing out here on the Cape. Hometown Barnstable, Massachusetts, just up the road. Chopper, Buckler spears at it, missed it, but Vincula backing him up, throws over to first in time to retire, and it's a very quick 3 up, 3 down for the Blue Sox. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Catuit still leading 4-0 here on the Kettleers YouTube network.
Now pitching for Lexington, number 10, Ernie Ronald. Pittsburgh, Ronald, number 10. Now pitching.
Bottom of the 6th here at Lowell Park. Catuit leading 4-0 over the Lexington Blue Sox. It will be Ethan Swidler, Andrew Wiggins, and Ryan Jaros due up for the Kets. First offering to Swidler, low and away, ball 1. Swidler, 0 for 1 on the day, does have a sacrifice fly. Brought in a run. That was back in the 2nd inning. Now there seems to be more people now than at the start of the game. Fans continuing to trickle in. Late Sunday afternoon here out on Cape Cod, and boy is it a beautiful one. The clouds have broken, blue sky everywhere. Enjoying some sunshine. Feeling like summer out here. Old Glory out in center field, billowing still. Wind blowing out to left center field. And Swindler has worked a 3-1 count. Upstairs, he'll take ball 4. And the leadoff man aboard for Catuit in the form of a walk.
And the weather has been a little funny. It was 90 degrees a couple days ago here on Cape, and it's gone down significantly. It's around 68 right now. Not too bad, but that sun's making it feel much better.
Everyone enjoying this weather as Wiggins steps into the left-handed hitting batter's box. That ball pops out of the glove of the catcher, Dushny, and trotting down to second safely is Swidler. Excuse me, that's now D'Agostino behind the dish. You know, such a beautiful day. You could see some kids out in center field. They're running along the track on the outside part of the fence. 1-0 the count. That pitch misses upstairs. Now, I do have to warn those kids, when we were walking along that fence before the game, I saw a snake out there, and it gave me quite the jump scare.
Yeah,
2-0.
you don't really expect it out there when you're just walking along the outside wall, but it was just hanging out over there by the Lowell Park scoreboard. Caught you off guard, that's for sure.
Off guard is an understatement. I moved as far away as possible in a very quick amount of time. 2-2 the count to Wiggins. Wiggins struck out in his last plate appearance, grounded out in his first, so still looking to get on base safely for the first time today. And the Indiana product can get on base. 2-2 outside, 3-2. Wiggins 6'4", 225, big tall presence out in center field. A lot of speed, too. You have to cover a lot of ground in center field. Chopper towards shortstop. Runner advances to third, but Wiggins will be thrown out at first. His speed made it a close play.
Yeah, they barely got him over there. Nearly lugged out that infield single, and you love to see your guys trying to steal those if you can. Solid speed down the line.
Jaros up for Catuit. Takes the first pitch as Swidler stands on third. One out here, bottom of the sixth. Catuit up 4-0. 1-0 the count to Jaros, who has struck out and doubled today. At 86-mile-per-hour fastball finds the outside part of the zone. 1-1 is the count. Lively crowd here today. The sun has warmed them up as well. Can hear people enjoying this great game of baseball. The 1-1 misses low and outside. 78 miles per hour. Infield ready to pounce. Toes near the infield grass. Swing and a miss. A healthy hack from Jaros. 2-2 is the count.
Got a runner on third. Want to try and get him home however you can. And Jaros with the ability to hit a double last time up.
2-2. Hot shot back up the middle into center field. That will score Swidler. And Jaros reaches first base safely on a screaming single.
That was hit pretty hard. Hot shot is, I think, exactly how you want to describe that one. Right past the glove of the pitcher, and no chance for the second baseman to make a play on it, and that's an RBI single for him.
And now here is Mr. Catuit. We might need to start calling him Jaron Avincula, who became so endeared to the community last season after a stellar campaign with the Cats. Takes a first pitch ball. I mean, when you talk about having a good summer, you know, you're thinking you get good views from scouts. Maybe you're hitting 320. You're getting a couple extra base hits. Jaron Avincula was nearly hitting 400 the entire season, as there's another base hit for Jaron Avincula. This one into right field on his horse's Jaros. The throw is in time to get Jaros. What a cannon out in right field from Norris.
Great throw, as you said. Gunned him down, and Avincula advancing to second. The silver lining right there. Third base hit for him today.
So Avincula reaches safely, but Jaros was a half step behind the throw from the right fielder Norris. And instead of being 2 on with 1 out, it is 1 on with 2 out, as that brings up Camden Johnson. I mean, we've seen some aggressive base running today from Catuit. We know that the Cats like to run, and that doesn't just mean stolen bases. That means runners advancing on balls into the outfield. First pitch swinging, hit a mile high. That's towards center field. Converging is Vandervoen and Camello will make the catch. That will end the inning. Catuit able to put together some hits. One run does score, so the lead is now 5-0. We'll head to the 7th inning here at Lowell Park. You're watching Cotuit Kettleers baseball on Kettleers YouTube.
For the Kettleers, number 51, Dylan Sutter. Bryant Sutter, number 51, now pitching.
Top of the 7th, Catuit up on Lexington 5-0. New pitcher on the bump for the Cats, Dylan Scudder, who drew quite the applause when his name was announced. 6'7", 252, a right-hander from Bryant University. I mean, we talk about tall guys coming out of the bullpen. 6'7", 252. Dylan Scudder might be the tallest one currently, as his first pitch, a 93-mile-per-hour fastball, is fouled back behind us.
Absolutely. Imposing presence out there on the hill. Not a guy you want to be looking at. And in that conversation we had about extension, he's a guy who's got some.
It'll be Camelo, Jimenez, and Lisco due up for Lexington. 0-2 the count on Charlie Camelo, who is 0 for 2 today. Third plate appearance, and this will be the third pitcher that he faces. Scudder comes set, the 0-2. 94-mile-per-hour fastball upstairs, 1-2. Looking out in this crowd, I see a man wearing a New York Yankees shirt. Of course, we're here in Red Sox country, so I need to be careful. It is rivalry weekend, too. The Sox and the Yanks are playing.
That's right. Yankees gear, I would have to assume, is fairly frowned upon around here.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Scudder strikes out the first batter he faces, drawing thunderous applause from some Scudder fans in attendance. You know, we were looking at the player profiles. Scudder does come from a large family, 8 siblings. I would have to imagine that the cheers we have maybe they're his siblings, maybe an extension of the family, but a lot of family could make the trip up to the Cape to watch him pitch.
All we know is the Scudder fan club runs pretty deep.
It does. He's from Simsbury, Connecticut, so not a whole lot of travel distance. A healthy hack swing and a miss. Pops out of the glove of French. Oh, and 2 the count to Jimenez. Just a bit low, 1-2. The pitch chopped on the ground towards third base. Diving stop by Farber. Throw to first in time. Would you look at that? It was Jaron Advincula over on third, I believe. The infield shifting around. Jaron Advincula playing third base just made a heck of a play.
That was pretty incredible. Was able to get in front of, guess who? Camden Johnson moving to shortstop from left field. So, guys all over the place in there. But, man, Advincula, he can play anywhere.
A magical summer last year, hoping to have a repeat, though repeating what he did in 2024, quite the tall task. Farber's at second. First base is Anderson French. So French moves from catching to first base, and doing the catching now is Ethan Swidler. A game of musical chairs in this Catuit infield. 1-1, 2 outs. Popped foul back behind the third base grandstand. What I can say for certain is Andrew Wiggins is out in center field as he is pacing around 2 feet in his immediate vicinity. 1-2 is in the dirt. 2-2, 85-mile-per-hour breaking ball that dropped low at the end. 2-2, 2 outs, deuces wild. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. Dylan Scudder with power and precision, 94 miles per hour on the punch out. And the Bryant Bulldog had himself an afternoon on the mound in his inning of work. We'll head to the 7th inning stretch here at Lowell Park. Catuit leading 5-0. Well, we have been taking me out to the ball game here at Lowell Park. Just wrapped up the 7th inning stretch. And as we head to the bottom of the 7th, first 3 batters due up for Catuit. PJ Moutsouridis, Max Knight, and Ryan Farber trying to extend this 5-0 Catuit lead. New pitcher on the bump for the Blue Sox, Brian Gowrie, right-hander out of Monte Cristi, Dominican Republic. Northern Essex Community College was his school of choice. And his first pitch to Moutsouridis, just a bit outside, ball 1.
Now he'll bring that breaking ball down 62 miles an hour on the radar gun.
That was a 77-mile-per-hour strike. Haven't seen his full pitch repertoire yet, but it's looking a little bit lower than some of the other Lexington pitchers we've seen. 64-mile-per-hour curveball that made Mutsaritas look a little silly. 1-2 is the count.
Yeah, you're going to have to adjust to that. Everyone else in this staff throwing around 90.
1-2, no outs. Here's the pitch. That one timed up well, struck towards shortstop, backhanded and throw to first. It's a long one that P.J. Mutsaritas beats out. A single to start things off here in the 7th for Mutsaritas, and Max Knight will step up to bat.
Back-to-back knocks for Mutsaritas. Having himself a day at the plate, double and a single now.
The two players from Cal showing good contact. We might need to call them, we'll need to come up with a nickname for them. I couldn't think of one off the top of my head. As first pitch swinging is Max Knight, tracking back towards the wall, carrying, and it's gone. The first home run of the afternoon comes off the bat of Max Knight. And boy, is he an igniter.
Well, he's sure igniting this lineup. First long ball, like you said, for the Kets. And Max Knight, he has the pop, and he's taking some big swings. That time sent it well out of here, almost into the bullpen in left field.
Seven to nothing is the score as Farber steps up to bat. It is just an exhibition, so again, taking things with a grain of salt, but for Max Knight to be able to showcase that power that he had at Missouri State has to be such a good thing, as there is a line shot that is speared by the first baseman, Lisco. Luke Ward at first base now for Lexington, able to flash his leather. Anderson French, the catcher turned first baseman for Catuit, will step up to bat with one out here, bottom of the 7th. First pitch, breaking inside, ball one. Two and 0. Doing the coaching over at first base, Nick Melton, and at third, Kevin Frady. Lauren Hibbs in his first season as Catuit skipper, bringing in an entirely new staff as well, as the 2-0 is fouled off above the third base stands.
A lot of these guys, former ball players. Melton used to play at Queens, and he's top 5 in a handful of hitting categories there. 4th in hits, 3rd in doubles, 1st in triples, 5th in homers as well. He was the first Queens Royal with 100 hits.
As that ball is cracked into right center field, and it will fly off the fence. Heading into second is Austin French. That ball was about 1.5 feet from clearing the fence for the second time this inning.
French showing off the pop right there. He's continuing to have a really nice day. 3rd time on base.
Hearing the cheers of Frenchie from the dugout. He'll be exciting to watch both behind the dish and standing around it. Ethan Swidler, the right-handed hitter, awaits the first pitch, which misses outside, 1-0. Some of the coaches we don't see out on the diamond. I mean, the one that comes to mind, Jay Lowe, he told us to call him.
Yeah, Johannes Lopez, the assistant coach and one of the pitching coaches, used to be an arm for High Point University. Still only 21 years old, so heck, he could probably go out there right now.
We'll see if Catuit throws him in the 9th. 2-0, 1 out. Runner on second for the Kets. Swindler takes 2-1.
Then you got Tim O'Connor, used to play baseball at Murray State JUCO and Northwestern State. Not to mention Matthew Flaherty, freshman at Boston College, and is kind of the analytics guy for the staff.
French advances safely on a stolen base. He scampered down to third, and that is the third stolen base of the afternoon for Anderson French. 3-1 is the count to Swidler. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Just outside, ball 4. Runners at the corners for the Kets. So with this new staff, it will take some time to get used to them, take some time to get maybe them acclimated to what a real game-like setting is here at Lowell Park. But the one thing we know for certain, they bring in a lot of baseball experience and a wealth of knowledge. I mean, there's a lot of years of coaching from these coaches combined. I mean, you look at Kevin Frady. He's been around the block for a while, stops at pretty much every level in college baseball.
He even worked for the Mets for a little bit. Area supervisor there, and known as a specialist for catching and hitting. Overall, he's got 25 years total of college coaching experience, so he's been at every level.
Upstairs, it will be 3-0 the count to Andrew Wiggins, who has grounded out twice today and struck out in his other plate appearance, looking to get on base for the first time. Well on his way. It's a 3-0 count. 2 men on. Here's the pitch. Strike 1. 3-1 is the count. So between Frady and Lauren Hibbs, that's nearly a half-century of coaching experience between the two of them. Ball is fouled to the backstop, 3-2.
So two veterans teaming up for the big part of the Cats' leadership this year.
Full count, 1 out. Set and the delivery. Runner towards second goes as the pitch is fouled back. Again, we'll do it all once more. One out. French on third. Swidler on first. Swidler goes. Here's the offering. Just outside, ball 4. Bases are juiced for Catuit as Ryan Jaros steps up to bat.
And Jaros, like many of the Catuit hitters in this lineup, is fairly hot right now. Back-to-back base hits, double and a single.
Lauren Hibbs not making any changes to the lineup card. A couple of positional switches, but Jaros, who started the game batting 9th, will make this will conclude the lineup card for the 4th time today. So every guy getting ample time and ample looks up to bat. First pitch to him is spiked, and that will roll towards the backstop. Runners advance station to station, as French will make his way back to the dugout after scoring the Cats' 8th run of the afternoon.
One of the first wild pitches we've seen as well. Mostly everything's been hugging the strike zone.
Three runs have scored for Catuit this inning. 1-0 is the count. Make it 1-1 is the count to Ryan Jaros, who is swinging a very light wood bat. I don't quite know my wood coloring. So that ball is popped up, tailing foul, and foul ground, but it's playable and caught by the first baseman, Luke Ward. And that flips the lineup card, brings up Jaron Avincula. I know it's early in the season, and you see guys come in and out of Cape League rosters nearly every day. Rosters aren't always set from the start point of the season to the end point. But is it too early to christen Jaron Vincula with the nickname Mr. Catuit?
I think it's well warranted with how much the community likes him and how well he's played as a Cotuit Kettleer, especially in that first year. And you see the start he's getting to right now in this exhibition game. He's picking up right where he left off, and I think if he has a similar summer to last year, I think the nickname is very fitting.
2-0 the count to him here with 2 outs. That ball is hit. Grounder towards second base. Routine play will retire Jaron Vincula. The Kettleers score 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th. They'll take their 8-0 lead to the 8th inning. And we'll take a break here from the broadcast booth. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cotuit Kettleers YouTube network. Mm-hmm. We're through 7 and have hit the 8th inning here at Lowell Park, and remaining on the bump for his second inning of work is Dylan Scudder. He'll be facing Norris, Ward, and Normandy for the Blue Sox. Scudder, in his first inning of work, struck out 2 and induced a ground out. So hoping to continue his hard-throwing strikeout hurling. That 78-mile-per-hour breaking ball nearly clips Norris on the front shoulder. The right-handed hitter awaiting the 2-0 pitch. Fastball outside, called strike 1. Scudder comes sets. Here's the 2-1. Fastball outside. 93 miles per hour. 93 miles per hour. Has to play a little bit higher when the person throwing it is 6'7". Fastball again. That one finds the zone. Bottom part near the knees of Norris.
He's throwing 92, 93, but to the eye, I think that looks more like 95, 96. Has a lot of late life to it.
Full count. Chopper towards short. And that ball bounces off the chest of Advincula. He'll throw it anyways. But Norris reaches safely. Took a rough hop as it went towards Advincula's glove, unable to grip it firmly on the initial hop.
So that's another switch on the infield. Advincula short. Mutsaritas is at third now. And then Camden Johnson doing the tour of the infield as well. From left field to short, now it's second.
First error of the afternoon. And the first pitch to Luke Ward is a strike. Scudder spent his first 2 years of college at Eastern Connecticut State. State in-state, the Connecticut native. 0-1 is chopped foul down the first base line. The Lexington dugout could have had a good play on it, instead making the first base coach make the play. 0-2. In his first season at ECSU, Scudder had a .432 ERA over 50 innings pitched. 0-2 upstairs. In his second season, he had a .261 ERA over 38 innings pitched. The biggest difference, he moved from a starting role to a relief role, and then transferred to Bryant, where he was only a reliever. Fastball up and away, 2-2 will be the count here with no outs, a runner on first for the Blue Sox. Infield playing straight up. The first baseman. Did we decide if that's... No, that's Austin French. The first baseman, French, holding the bag. 2-2 down low, called strike 3.
Nasty pitch, bottom corner, just spotted the fastball perfectly, and there was nothing he could do about it.
Third strikeout of the afternoon for Dylan Scudder. Brings up Tyler Normandy, who is 0 for 2 today. Strike 1. Outfield shaded to their rights. So if you're looking from behind home plate like we are, a bit to their left. Here's the 0-1. Soft swing tapped foul. 0-2. So once Scudder got moved to the bullpen, he really found his groove and kind of settled into the style of pitching that he now brings to Catuit. 35 strikeouts, only 12 walks this past season at Bryant. The tall right-hander, set, lifts his maroon sock and delivers strike 3. Swing and a miss from Normandy. 4 strikeouts for Scudder.
Just a massive cut, and Scudder, just nasty pitch after nasty pitch. This Blue Sox lineup, nothing doing for them.
I mean, nasty might be an understatement. We see on the scoreboard it says 93, 94 miles per hour. These fastballs look to be playing a little bit up, and it's not on a frozen rope. There's a little bit, like you said, Connor, there's a little bit of life on them. 1-0, 2 outs, runner on first. And Scudder seems to be relying primarily on his fastball right now, and it has been working. Catuit, 8 runs on 13 hits, 1 error. Lexington, no runs on 2 hits, no errors. Here's the 1-1, down low. Sun still high in the sky, 4:12 local time. Swing and a miss on a strike upstairs, 92 miles per hour. That brings the count even at 2-2. Kids holding bomb pops in the stands. Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on and fouled away. Over to the first base grandstand side. Just a couple ticks below 70 on the thermometer, so that bomb pop definitely looking appetizing to me up here in the booth.
Me too.
Here's the 2-2 pitch, misses downstairs. The count will run full. The bomb pop just screams summer.
It really
Red,
does.
white, and blue, it's a popsicle. I can't think of anything more summertime than a bomb pop. Payoff pitch. Down low, ball 4.
What we do have, though, we have Mike and Ike's in the booth here, so.
We do. And I see you've taken out the lime green ones.
Well, those spilled out onto the counters, so that wasn't really a choice of mine. So what are you going to do, right?
It is kind of nice that only 2 lime green ones spilled out. I thought you were like taking them out to save them or you didn't like them.
Oh, no, they're good. That was just – they were gone with the wind. I don't know what to say.
Are those lime? I can't read the flavor. I'm going to go with lime.
It's the sour mix. These are pretty good.
Lime, green, Mike and Ike's, and Bomb Pops. The tastes of summertime. Brian Acosta up for Lexington. Multicolored bat, blue up top, pink towards the handle. Split down the middle. Here's the 1-0 pitch to him. Swing and a miss on a 91-mile-per-hour fastball. 1-1. Runners on first and second. 2 outs here. Top of the 8th. Kets up 8-0. Swing and a drive towards center field. On his horse back is Wiggins, and he'll have it sail over his head. He's up near the fence. That will score 2 runs. A long 2-run, 2-out double from Brian Acosta.
There you go. Brian Acosta getting stuff going for the Blue Sox. That was a really nice piece of hitting into deep center. Just gave that ball a ride. Wiggins had to track all the way back to the fence for it.
8-2 is the score after that 2-run double from Acosta. That brings up, didn't quite catch the number. We'll get you the batter momentarily. Bobby D'Agostino up. Again with the multicolored bat. His is blue up top, red towards the handle. He takes strike 1. This is Scudder's second inning of work, an inning more than any other Kets pitcher has done today. Check swing, he went around. 0-2. So Scudder has thrown more pitches than anyone, and up until 2 outs, I mean, he was great for the first 5 outs. This last out has been tricky for him to get. An 0-2 count. Here's a great opportunity. I will say just about everyone thought that was strike 3 and said just a bit inside it will be 1-2.
Looked like it was on the corner, but he'll have to work for it.
1-2, 2 outs. Scudder checks the runner at second, now kicks and deals. That one low. Nearly got away from Swidler behind the dish, but he pounced on it. 2-2. Two outs. Swing and a miss. Scudder ends the inning with a strikeout number 5 on the afternoon for the Bryant Bulldog as he'll make his way back to the dugout. The Kets up 8-2. Lexington plates a pair. We'll take a break. Here from the booth, you're listening and watching Kets baseball on the Cotuit Kettleers YouTube network.
remember we scored when I was up.
Yeah. Bottom of 8 here at the beautiful Lowell Park, nestled in Catuit, Massachusetts. And, Camden Johnson takes a first pitch ball. New pitcher out on the bump for the Blue Sox, Aiden Gilbert. Right-handed hurler out of Connecticut. And Holy Cross University. There's a drive out towards right field, towards the wall. Goodbye, baseball. Camden Johnson put a charge into that one and sent it into the Lexington bullpen.
I think that's the most well-struck ball we've seen all day. Camden Johnson put that one out here in a hurry.
And as the sun is now on the decline, the runs have started to heat up for both teams. 3 runs in the 7th for Catuit, 2 in the top of the frame for Lexington, and just now a solo shot from Camden Johnson. As that brings up PJ Moutsouridis, who takes a beautiful breaking ball that broke into the zone for strike 1. Gilbert working quick, inside at the shins, 2-0. Cracked on the ground towards short. And in time to retire, Moutsouridis. And here comes Max Knight, the igniter who hit a 2-run home run in his last plate appearance. Looking to see if he can tack on another hit to this afternoon's game. Wave and a miss from Knight on that first pitch. Strike. Gilbert out on the bump. He was rated the 30th best right-handed pitcher in his class in the state of Connecticut. 0-2. And he graduated in 2023, but when he committed to Holy Cross, it was on the condition that he would become the class of 2024, as there's a 3-pitch strikeout on Max Knight.
I feel like you hear about guys moving down a class or recommitting from the 24 to the 23 class, for example, and going to college early, but I don't think you hear about the reclass up very often.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and it shocked me when I first read it, and now here I have this article pulled up from Prep Baseball. As there's a first pitch strike to Ryan Farber, and Gilbert said that he graduated when he turned 17 and has a late fall birthday, so he would have been the youngest one in his class of 23, or he waits, becomes class of 24, and he's an average age. He's 18. So then he went 2024 to Holy Cross. Two and one on Farber. 2 outs here, bottom of the 8th. Farber 2 for 4 today. The Texas State Bobcat. He awaits the 3-1 pitch. Down low, ball 4. He works a walk. Now, I'm sure we'll say throughout this summer, oh, this guy's, Texas State Bobcat or a Cal Golden Bear. A couple of them are in the transfer portal, so we can't quite say that, but we'll be saying it like they are if they're not fully committed. How about that? We'll go with that.
Well, hey, because they don't play for the transfer portal. They're just in it.
Runner goes, throw down to second. On one hop, gets past the shortstop's glove, and Farber reaches safely.
Well, good stop at second base because Farber could have easily gone for an extra base if not for that glove stop over there.
Battery meeting on the mound. It was a quick one. Took about a second. Hey, I mean, you mentioned the transfer portal. You don't play for it. If the transfer portal did have a team, it would probably be the best in the nation. Just with the amount of talent that goes into and out of the portal every year, it's impressive. Runner on second, 2 outs, bottom of 8. And the first offering to Austin French, second is a ball. So 2-0 is the count. Frenchie today 2 for 3, has a walk as well. 3 stolen bases on the day.
Here, Chris, we've got some Kettleers all-time trivia pulled up right here.
Oh,
how about I quiz you?
I looked over and I saw the trivia and I was like, oh my goodness, are you going to stump me?
I'll give you a fairly modern one to make it a little easier. Who's the last Ket to win MVP in the Cape Cod Baseball League?
Cape League MVP was not Jaron Advincula, though he could have.
Certainly a candidate.
3-1 pitch in the dirt. That's a walk. And trotting from second to third is Farber. So runners will be on the corners here with 2 outs. As that brings up Ethan Swidler. And I'm trying to stall for time as I think of the Cotuit Kettleer who last won Cape League MVP. My guess is it was probably from, what was it, late 2010s when the Kets won a championship?
It is from within the past 7 years. I'll narrow it down for you.
Past 7 years. So if my math is correct, that's 2018 and onward.
Current big leaguer.
Current big leaguer who played for the Cats. 1-1. Oh man, this is a tougher one to start things off. Thinking of Cats in the major league, who would have had to been a little bit ago. So it's not anyone really recent. That one is hit a mile high. Shallow center field, and tracking it is Vander Zuvwen. You know, Connor, I think you're going to have to let me know. Do you want to let me know before or after the break?
It's Nick Gonzalez.
Oh, Nick Gonzalez. Pittsburgh Pirate, right?
Yeah, led off yesterday.
Oh, man.
Unreal.
Nick Gonzalez, the latest Cotuit Kettleer to win the Cape League MVP. Well, you are 1-0 on stumping me for trivia. We'll say this one's an exhibition, too. We'll take a quick break. We're heading to the 9th inning. Just one more frame to play, presumably for the Cats. You're listening and watching Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cats YouTube network. Top of the 9th inning from Lowell Park. Catuit holding on to a 9-2 lead over the Lexington Blue Sox of the Inner City Summer League. And a new pitcher for the Kettleers, right-handed hurler out of the mighty San Jose State University, Tyler Albanese. First pitch, 91 miles per hour. Another hard-throwing reliever. 6'6", 237. So another big reliever.
I must say, that's another fastball that just feels faster than the number on the radar gun. Late life.
1-1 is the count to Jack Cammon by way of Tufts University. 1-1 is the count to him. Albanese delivers a 77-mile-per-hour breaking ball that broke too far outside. 2-1. Nearly a sweeper-type pitch movement. That ball just tailed away at the very end. Albanese, the Redlands, California native, with a blue glove set at his belt, showing a lot of his back numerals to the catcher. Swinging strike, 2-2.
He was the closer for San Jose State this year as well. 8 saves, 2.97 ERA. How about this? 56 strikeouts. Good for a 12.8 Ks per 9.
Ooh. Swing and a miss. There it is, a strikeout. Albanese sits down the first batter that he faces, continuing this train of Catuit hurlers who strike out batters. That brings up Luke Maltasia. George Washington, teammates with Max Hogue. First pitch, a 77-mile-per-hour breaking ball for ball 1. Chopper towards the right side, and it gets past a diving second baseman, Jaron Advincula, who is wearing many infield caps today. It's a single for Maltasia.
Looks like most guys have gone back to their normal positions. I see Mutsaritas at short again and Farber back at third.
1 on, 1 out. Pat Casserly up. The Holy Cross. Utility man. White batting gloves gripping the bat. First pitch swinging. Wave and a miss. It's hard to keep those white batting gloves in crisp condition. Still earlier in the season, so not a lot of time to dirty them up as we have pitch com troubles. Albanese, with a slight chuckle, able to figure it out on his own. Oh, and 1 out. Swing and a miss, throw down to first for the back pick. Not quite in time.
That was a really good tag by Anderson French, though. I thought he got him for a second, but not quite in time. Runner barely got back.
Infield tucking the corners in. Middle infield playing a step or two in front of the grass. 0-2 in the dirt. Good block by Swidler. Outfield seemingly straight away. If anything, Camden Johnson over in left has taken a couple steps towards the dugout, or maybe the more likely didn't want to trot as far out of the dugout. Broken bat. That ball sent high into foul ground. French catches it. And there's 2 retired.
The other part of that bat almost made it to the outfield, and it almost got Ren Farber over there at third base. That's a scary sight, seeing that thing flying your way.
Wood Bat Summer League's a big change from the metal bats you use in college ball. So it's another one of those changes that makes summer leagues not, I would say, more challenging, but more of a growing experience. A sort of a swing from Harrison Tucker. On a 91-mile-per-hour fastball, 0-1 the count to him. Runner on first, 2 outs. Ket's up by 7 here, top of the 9th. Swing and a miss on another quick pitch, 0-2. I mean, sometimes you'll hear of coaches just sending a guy up to get a couple reps with a wooden bat just to prep him for what's to come. 0-2. Softly hit, shallow left field. Charging in, but charging out and making the catch is Moutsouridis. Nearly a collision with Johnson in left field, but both guys able to avoid a collision.
We had so much fun. We're going to do it again.
And we're hearing over the loudspeaker that this game is still continuing. So I think we're just going to keep on going. Game is not over. So we'll head to the bottom of the 9th inning and know the Cats aren't down. They're up 9-2, but we'll have some more fun calling this game. From Lowell Park, you're watching Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cats YouTube network.
Thank you.
Bottom of the 9th here from Lowell Park. Cats up 9-2 over the Lexington Blue Sox. Seen a lot of offense in the past couple of innings for both squads. And we had so much fun, we're just continuing to play more innings. This game might not ever end, and you know what? We'll just put up some beds up in the booth, and we'll stay here as long as we need to.
I think we could make that happen. Just hang out at Lowell Park all day and all night. Why not?
Josh Becker now pitching for the Blue Sox. Hometown of Burlington goes to UMass Lowell. First batter he'll be facing is Andrew Wiggins, followed by Ryan Jarvis, and then the lineup card will flip.
Brendan Doyle is not catching. He was the last batter last inning.
Brendan Doyle doing the catching for Lexington. First pitch, 88 miles per hour, misses just a bit outside to Wiggins. Wiggins reached base via the walk in his last plate appearance. 0 for 3 today. Low and inside at the toes of the gray cleats of Wiggins, 2-0. Maroon and gray batting gloves, holding his black wooden bat high. Doesn't bite on the upstairs heat, 3-0. Wind continuing to billow. As there's a 4-pitch walk to Wiggins. Tops of the trees that line the outfield are moving. Turning out to be a beautiful afternoon. Fans still sticking around. A lot of people walking out in this brick courtyard of Lowell Park. Finding shade, checking out the merchandise store. First pitch to Jaros is a strike.
We were walking by the concession stand earlier, and those dogs were smelling pretty good.
Ooh. You said the magic words. I'm now hungry. Ball's chopped foul right near the plate, 0-2. Connor, what's the most iconic big league dog from a ballpark?
Oh, man. I guess I can't really say, like, what type of dog or, like, from which park, I guess.
I mean, you know how teams sometimes have their own signature hot dog? Like, Los Angeles has the Dodger dog. 0-2, runner goes. That pitch is fouled away. Chicago, you'll have more of a Chicago dog.
That is fair. I've only been to 3 stadiums. I've been to, of course, Progressive Field in Cleveland many a time, as I'm from the area and a Guardians fan, and have been to Wrigley and Fenway. But it's been a long, long time, and I was in middle school, so I don't quite remember if I was perusing the dogs there, but I guess the default would be the all-beef hot dog at Progressive.
On the ground to short, unable to field it. And reaching safely to second base is Wiggins, and Jaros reaches first.
I think the Dodger dog is probably the one you hear about the most, though.
Jaros reaches on an air. That brings up Jaron Avincula. 3 for 5 on the day. This will be his 6th plate appearance. Just outside, low and away. 1 ball and no strikes, no outs, 2 on for the Kets, who have a comfortable 9-2 lead in this 9th inning. Cracked down the left field line, foul. Couple people sticking around, hugging the third base fencing. Come home opener. Those seats will be hot property.
I mean, typically there's seats all the way down the third base line, all the way down first.
Up the middle to second for 1 to first. Not in time to retire Vincula. Blue Sox get Jaros at second, Wiggins at third. Camden Johnson up to bat for his 6th time today. Home run in the 8th. That was his last time up to bat. A solo round tripper. 2 on, 1 out. Runners at the corners for the Cats. Fouled back to the screen. And the people sitting near that fencing didn't flinch. I think if I was down there, I would have flinched. Maybe just a little bit.
I think both of us flinched when that 1 ball hit up here.
That ball is deposited into shallow right field. It will score Wiggins. Vincula holds at third, and it's a RBI single for Camden Johnson, who has demonstrated a lot of power and crack in his bat.
Hard hit single up the right side. You said it best. A lot of power in that bat, and not just out of the park power, but has the ability to just drive it the other way and get himself a single like that.
PJ Mutsaritas first pitch swinging, fouled back behind us. 85-mile-per-hour heat. Still 1 out. Catuit has crossed the double-digit plateau. They now sit at 10. Runner at first goes. There won't be a throw down to second. The Cats have 15 hits on the day. the only Cats who have not registered a hit. Ethan Swindler and Andrew Wiggins. There's a soft chopper to second. Throw to first in time to retire Mutsaritas, but Avincula comes around to score. One California kid helping out the other. It's an 11-2 Cats lead.
Commanding in there, hoping for some more of this into the regular season. Coming up soon, of course.
Saturday. Would love if you listened in. Connor, Shu, and I will be on the road as the Cats open up against the Orleans Firebirds. You can listen to that here on the Cotuit Kettleers YouTube. And all home games can be found and viewed on CapeLeagueTV.com. 0-2 is the count on Max Knight. 1 for 5 on the day. His one hit, a long bomb. He takes inside. That ball kicks away from the catcher, Brendan Doyle. And Camden Johnson comes around to score. 12-2, Catuit leading. Bottom of the ninth here at Lowell Park. And it's been a fun day, beautiful day for baseball. We've had bomb pops consumed, Mike and Ike's consumed. Home runs have been seen, and it's a great way to start this season. A swing and a miss from Max Knight. He goes down. That ends the ninth inning. And we're looking to see if this is it. Will not be it. We're playing 10. We'll take a quick break. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cotuit Kettleers YouTube network. A perfect 10. We've hit the 10th inning. Though the game is not quite tied, Catuit up 12-2. And if you're keeping score, writing this down in a scorebook, good luck, because there is an all Catuit defensive setup. But Chris Wanat is pitching for the Cotuit Kettleers wearing a Lexington Blue Sox jersey.
Well, he's ours. We're supplying the pitchers for both halves of this inning.
So this inning will be all Lexington pitchers. And in this Catuit defensive half, the Cats are indeed playing defense. So we'll see some Blue Sock on Blue Sock pitching and hitting.
Chris is one of our better pitchers.
You heard it here first. Chris is a solid arm.
Not the Chris in the booth, the Chris on the mound. Chris Wan at the Boston College Eagle.
Hey, two things can be true.
I'd say he's probably a couple miles per hour quicker than me. 2-1, the count to Chad Connor.
No, this is Will Norris.
Will Norris up to bat.
Number changes that I didn't know about.
2-2 the count, no outs. One out to deal. So, Connor, you have to wonder, since Juanet's pitching, do the Kets play a little bit of sabotage and just, oh, no, there's an error. Oh, no, the ball got into the outfield.
Well, I was going to say we'll find out on the first ground ball. So I'm intrigued.
We'll have to see how strong of defense the Kets play.
Or does Chris just throw soft pitches to his teammates to let him hit it?
This could also be the case. There's a ground ball towards short. Running throw. In time, that's not a good pick from Anderson French. Didn't quite get a grip on it. I mean, it would have been a tough play regardless.
He kept that foot on the bag, though, so the ball must have popped down on the other side.
Yeah, the umpire said he was
Great effort.
juggling.
There's the Blue Sox 4th hit of the day. Unfortunately, it has to go off the arm of Chris Wynant. Luke Ward takes strike one. And directly to my right, Connor Shue doing the immaculate grid for the day.
I figured this could be part of the show. Try to get some Kets on the immaculate grid.
See, now the immaculate grid, it gives you a 3x3 grid and qualifications, and you have to pick a player that fits both. There's strike two on Luke Ward. It's like the cross-section between Seattle Mariners and Philadelphia Phillies. You had to pick a player who played for both. Who'd you pick?
Cliff Lee was the choice.
Swing and a miss from Luke Ward. He trots back to the dugout. And that might be a interesting ride back to Lexington between Waynot and Ward. Striking out each other. Someone's got to be the loser in that situation.
Has to be some friendly banner in there.
And now with Nat stealing, 1 strike, no balls the count to Tyler Normandy. He smacks one into left field. Advancing to second base is Norris. So now in retaliation for striking out one of his own, the Blue Sox have put 2 on base this inning. Bring up Anderson Jimenez from Lowell, Massachusetts. 2 on, 1 out. First pitch to him. Popped up down the first base line. French, 5 feet into foul ground, makes the grab.
Well, we're being introduced to a new daily baseball game by our friend Bruce, the Cape League historian here.
The daily walk-off.
It's really fun. You can pick it's got every team. It'll be the same categories. But then you just got to put the players.
So
match
we're
players
getting
with
the
the
rundown, and what it is, it's this category, and you have to match
So instead of-
players to the category. You have to rank them.
Well, no.
You
gotta see who
just
fits.
click them.
Yeah, you just move them.
1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs.
Mm.
A swing and a miss from Brian Acosta, who had a 2-run home run. That's been the extent of the Blue Sox damage this afternoon. 1-1 the count on him. One and two. Connor, are you figuring out this daily walk-off?
I'm thinking about it right now. I'm looking into this. There's some names I'm not familiar with on this list.
1 and 2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Outside, 2-2. So we've got Immaculate Grid and Daily Walk-Off going. The place to be is the Kets broadcast booth.
We're having fun up here, I must say.
And we've got Mike and Ike's. 2-2, swing and a miss. Chris Waynot gets out of the inning, surrenders 2 hits, but neither come around to score. So the Blue Sox trots back to the Blue Sox dugout after shutting down the Blue Sox. We'll head to the bottom of the 10th here from Lowell Park. Bottom of 10 on the bump for the Lexington Blue Sox. Giancarlos Ramirez. And it will be Ryan Farber, Anderson French, and Ethan Swidler due up for the Kets, each for their 6th time in this game. And as the announcement rings throughout Lowell Park, we'll just remind you again, opening day this Saturday away at Orleans. Home opener on Sunday, 1 week from today, against the Wareham Gatemen. The Cape League will be in full swing. 1-1 the count to Farber. 2 for 4 today with a walk as well. Kets will have a fun treat going all the way across Cape to Orleans, who play in the Eastern Division of the Cape League. Get to experience another side of Cape Cod. No, Connor, you and I, when we came in, we crossed over the bridge onto Cape. That's all Upper Cape. We haven't gone anything Lower Cape, so we'll be able to experience that side.
That's very good, though. You know the distinctions. I'm impressed.
There we go. We're becoming veterans early.
We've done our research, learning Upper Cape and Lower Cape.
Crossing that Bourne Bridge is a lot of fun. It's a good view off it, I must say.
Over the Cape Cod Canal. Whole lot to explore still. I mean, we've only been out here a week.
We've
Not even.
Gotten to see Falmouth a little bit as well, just in driving around.
That is the closest Walmart. Or Target, one of the two. I made a Walmart or Target run
Target,
to Falmouth.
Walmart isn't Falmouth. Target isn't Hyannis, but I thought there was a Walmart there too.
Walmart in Falmouth, Target in Hyannis, we've learned.
There you go.
And I think I've been to both.
I think.
Call Hyannis the big city.
Okay.
Big
See,
City Hyannis.
I think we'll be learning something new every day.
For Cape Cod, it's the big city.
2-0, the count to Anderson French. Just a bit inside 3-0. Yeah, I'm not sure if Hyannis is rivaling Cleveland or Denver in terms of size, but
Or Boston.
nope.
I said for Cape Cod.
By Cape Cod standards, Hyannis, the big city. 3-1, 87-mile-per-hour fastball from Giancarlos Ramirez on Anderson French. Popped up sky high. And landing just behind our building, our little building we're in.
The Arnold Mycock building.
Great view of Lowell Park from up here. 3-1. Downstairs, another walk. 2 on, no out. Brings up Ethan Swidler. Now, Boston has to be a little bigger than Cleveland and Denver, I would assume, right?
To say the least, much, much bigger.
Now, is Denver bigger than Cleveland?
I'd have to say the Cleveland metro area is pretty large, but Cleveland proper is, if you're talking population, maybe 300,000, 400,000 people. Metro is well over 1 million, though.
So, I mean, we'd go in metros. That ball gets away, and to the backstop, runners will move up 90 feet. Swidler will have an opportunity to bat with 2 runners in scoring position on a 1-1 count. So, I mean, official ranking, would we go Boston the biggest, Cleveland the second biggest, and Denver bringing up the rear?
I think Denver's bigger than Cleveland. I could be wrong, but you would know better.
1-2, 1-1, that pitch gets away, and coming in to score is Ryan Farber. French up to third. It will be a 2-1 count to Swidler. Andrew Wiggins on deck.
The greater Denver area is just under 3 million people as of 2020, so there you go.
Sky high fly ball. It will trickle back towards the infield, and making the catch over at shortstop.
Is that short? It should be him. Looks
Anderson Jimenez making the catch at short.
stayed in. It's short.
1 out, 1 on, runner on third for Andrew Wiggins. Oh, and 1 the count to Wiggins. I think we looked up the population of Cleveland to compare it to Denver. You said Denver was 3 million. Was that the metro or just Denver proper?
That was Metro. Proper is about 700,000, it said.
Okay, what's the Cleveland metro?
I think I was on it. It's 2 million.
2 million. All right.
Proper is 362 million. 1,000. Wow. Okay. Send me back to elementary school. I can't do math. Jeez.
The entirety of the U.S. population now lives in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh.
They would all love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Trust me.
That's the biggest reason.
2-1, 1 out the count to Wiggins.
That or a Guardians game, I'd say.
Finds the
Not a
inside
Browns
part of the zone, 2-2. I think the entirety of the U.S. would love going to Cleveland.
Depends who you ask.
Maybe
I'd say yes.
Hey, what? Isn't the Goodyear? Is there anything Goodyear out there? 2-2 outside.
I think so. But
You like blimps? Isn't that Akron?
Is
That's
how
big,
close is
Akron.
Akron to?
Akron's about an hour from Cleveland.
I'm sure we could fit the entire U.S. population between Cleveland and Akron.
I don't know about that, I must say.
3-2 upstairs. Wiggins works a walk.
We can try. How many people?
Ryan Jaros up to bat.
How many people could you fit in the Cape? That's the question.
Without it sinking?
We are on, is it an official island?
Well,
Peninsula?
it's a peninsula. Unofficially, it's an island because the canal was man-made.
An unofficial island out here. A natural peninsula, you could say.
Indeed.
It's just a giant sandbar sticking out into the Atlantic Ocean.
So if we did put the entire United States population out here, it would probably sink. 1-1 is the count here with 1 out.
It would get a little crowded, to say the least.
13-2 Kets lead here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Jaros takes outside. 2-1.
You can tell by the score, by the conversation, it's not a close game.
It is 13-2 currently.
It's the 10th inning.
But we've learned all about city populations and how many people could fit on the Cape.
We get into our population geography.
For what it's worth, I do think you could fit 365 million people out here. Like it would be pretty crammed, but
How are they stacked?
Just everyone gets on someone else's shoulders and
ooh, that hits him right up in the front elbow guard.
could hear that one.
Jaron Avincula will come up to bat for the 7th time today, and we might have a late game pitching change.
I don't know if we have anybody else left. I think that's it. There's nobody in the bullpen.
Well, yeah, the bullpen has cleared out. Looks to be someone's walking their dog out by the bullpen. Could give him a call.
Might have to.
I think Ramirez is going to have to wear it.
Ramirez 2 outs away. Bases juiced. 1 out. I bet he could buckle down and get out of this jam.
Could be one pitch. Ground ball.
Double play ball in effect. That's hit to straightaway center. Charging in and making the catch, Camelo. Throw into the infield, cut off. A run will score. It's a sacrifice fly for Jaron Avincula. 14-2 will be the score. So Ramirez gets halfway there. He got 1 out. It did come at the cost of a run, but now needing 1 out to get out of this 10th inning. And what I would presume to be the ending of the game. We have verbal confirmation that an out here would be the end of the game, and that ball bounces off the catcher's mitt and hits the umpire's face mask.
Not ideal.
Not very ideal.
I think it's the 10th inning and not the first. It could make a whole lot of difference.
1-0 to Camden Johnson. Crack towards first base, and it just trickles foul. Had that been fair, that would have been a nice 3 unassisted.
If I'm remembering this right, a quarter of the U.S. population lives within a day's drive of Cape Cod.
Well, that's a good stat.
But, I mean, most of those people are coming from New York City,
Yeah.
which has what? How many?
So
Couple of 'em.
We just learned that a quarter of the United States population is within driving distance of Cape Cod. Fly ball to shallow left field. This could end it, and it does. Final score for this exhibition, 14-2, but the score isn't really what matters. Another great game between the Lexington Blue Sox and Cotuit Kettleers, continuing this early season tradition here at Lowell Park, prepping both for their respective leagues this summer. So best of luck to the Lexington Blue Sox in their Inter-City League play. And Catuit prepping for their Cape League play. Not quite an official win, but Lauren Hibbs now gets a winning taste in his mouth here at Lowell Park.
It's a good way to start things off in the new regime for the Cotuit Kettleers, and here's to continuing it into the regular season.
So wrapping up things here at Catuit from Lowell Park here in Catuit, Massachusetts. I'm Chris Albright saying good night for both Connor Shue and Brooke Kilgore. The final score of today's game, Catuit 14 runs on 15 hits, 1 error. Lexington 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Plenty of fun baseball being played, plenty of good looks. We remind you to tune in to the Cotuit Kettleers opening day broadcast. That will be this Saturday at Orleans. You can find that game to be listened to here on YouTube. And then Sunday, 1 week from today, the home opener, Catuit versus Wareham. You can watch that on CapeLeagueTV.com. We hope to catch you there. Good night from Cape Cod.